Hello, this is Vision for Content. My name is Sarah Isaacs. This is for SED 510, SLO 6, June 11th, 2025. So first, we are going to discuss my content vision statement. It's important to note that this is for a high school social studies teacher, specifically history and government. My vision is to help students develop democratic values and deepen their understanding of the United States through the use of student-led activities and critical thinking. By promoting active engagement and explorative inquiry, I aim to enable students to become powerful thinkers and informed citizens to prepare them for the United States' future. And the impact of my content vision statement is the impact is that the vision statement has on student learning experience is massive. By requiring students to think critically and engage in discussion and activities without the teacher leading can give students the push they need to think for themselves, problem solve, and critically think about the world around them and how it functions. By doing this, I am better preparing them for their future, both as a student and as a citizen or person in the United States. And then this is a review of my 5-day unit plan. So first, day one, this day advances the students' learning towards the summative assessment because this lesson covers the tensions between America and Britain pre-American Revolution and Common Sense by Thomas Paine. All of these things are covered on the summative assessment in either multiple choice or short answer questions. For day two, this day advances the students' learning towards summative assessment because this lesson covers the causes of war and its impact for the American Revolution and the differing viewpoints on the American Revolution. A few of these to note would be the soldiers on both sides, slaves, and women. And then there are questions on the summative assessment that cover these topics. For example, one of the questions is a short answer question that asks the students to provide very brief summaries of all the different viewpoints on the American Revolution. And then for day three, this day advances the students' learning towards the summative assessment because this lesson covers the Declaration of Independence and its formation. There are three direct questions on the summative assessment regarding this lesson. An example of this was, what year was the Declaration of Independence signed? And then for day four, this day advances the students learning towards the summative assessment because this lesson covers the Constitution and the foundations created by this document. The summative assessment has two multiple choice questions and four short answer questions regarding the Constitution the students will need to answer. These questions also cover the Bill of Rights and ask the students to provide examples from the Bill of Rights to support their answers. And then finally, last day, day five. This day advances the students' learning towards the summative assessment because this lesson covers the presidencies of Washington and Adams, which are the first two presidencies, the formation years of the country, the United States, and John Marshall Supreme Court. There is a question regarding the Supreme Court on the summative assessment. This question asks the students to provide a brief explanation and with examples of John Marshall Supreme Court. It's important to note the Supreme Court was very important to the formation of the United States because a lot of laws came out of a Supreme Court regarding the cases that still affect Americans today in some regard. And then next is my reflection based on content relevance and research synthesis. As an educator, content relevance is crucial in my classroom. As a social studies teacher, connecting the content to the students' lives can help drive student engagement. By studying history and comparing it to current day, students can see where things have gone wrong in history and how history repeats itself over and over again. This is actually seen in the present day as we speak, unfortunately. Content relevance is also important because students can see how the government affects their lives at all levels. Further, as a teacher, it is my mission to prepare my students for the future and help them develop democratic values, as well as be able to think for themselves and understand what is happening in the world around them. An example of this would be students being able to read the news and doing current events in the classroom and discussing what's happening around us in the surrounding countries and how it affects our lives and the people's lives outside of the country. The research synthesis that I have completed has influenced my understanding due to its focus on student engagement. The research synthesis that I completed was titled Creating Engaging and Motivating Instructional Strategies and focused on student engagement through the lens of student-led learning, student-teacher relationships, and its limitations. This influenced my vision for the instructional practice because I truly learned the importance of content relevance and how it drives student engagement, and how using student-led practice and critical thinking activities can lead to a better student understanding, as well as more engagement in the content material. This was utilized in the unit plan through the inclusion of student-led activities, such as class discussions, otherwise known as roundtables, that discussed the content of the day, such as the Federalist versus the Anti-Federalist and its connection to the Constitution, as well as critical thinking activities such as the document-based questions and close reading activities. And that is all for my presentation. Thank you for a great semester.